I'm not a relationship expert, but sometimes I get it right. My wife and I had a conversation because I could tell that she was under a lot of stress. My wife has a lot on her plate. The kids, of course, just thrust things at her and put even more things on her plate than anyone can handle. And I cannot take things off her plate fast enough or effectively enough. And so I asked her how she was doing. And she said, I'm doing fine. And I said, are you really? She said, what do you mean? I said, it just seems to me that you might be under a lot of stress. And she said, yeah, truthfully, I am. And I said, what can I do to help you with that? Let's assume that there are things that perhaps I'm not doing, or I'm not doing enough of, or I'm not doing well enough. Because at the end of the day, if I can take that off your plate, I think that's one of the most important things I can do as a husband. And she said, you know the one thing you can do? And I said, no, I don't. Please tell me. She said, you could do the dishes more. And I thought, you know, I do the dishes sometimes, but I could certainly do the dishes more. I know that getting defensive right now and saying, well, I do the dishes quite a bit. You sure that's the problem? I knew that was the worst way for that conversation to continue. So I said, what else do you need? And she said, nothing. If you do the dishes more, that will take a giant source of stress off of me because I hate doing the dishes. And I said, done. And she said, what can I do to help with your stress? And I said, well, you can tell me the next time the dishes are driving you crazy like that before we have one of these big old talks. And she knew I was kidding. And the reason that I'm sharing this is I know that people don't always give you the honest answer the first time you ask. My wife didn't want to hurt my feelings, didn't want to have an argument, or put me in a position where maybe I would feel like I was being criticized. So I'm glad that I pushed the issue a little bit more and told her that I see you, and I know that no matter how much I'm doing, there's probably always a chance for me to do more. I felt a little bit proud of myself that my wife thought, I can ask this, I'll take it the right way, he's got my back. It was just one of those conversations that I didn't know we were going to have, and I didn't know where it was going to go. But I think when you're in a relationship and you're always making it your job to see their stress and try to help them with their stress, I think it has a chance to make things better.